I'm not sure if I've reached it yet, but I would say for me, this CD is one of them because it is a CD of mostly all of my compositions. You know, I'm on many CDs, but this is the first one that's my composition.
Yours, yeah.
And so I think that's a big one for me. And I would also say I've done some concerts with Dave Brubeck, and I've enjoyed those immensely. You know, just being with that man because he's such a genius and such a great person. So I find myself really looking back to some of those concerts and saying, boy, those were really enjoyable.
What would you say was the major thing that helped in your development?
I would have to say it was my teachers, my guitar teacher, Salvatore Ria, my first teacher, Bob Shaw, my second teacher. They really kind of took my hand and held me, kind of guided me in the right direction musically. And I think that's probably the biggest thing for me is my first two guitar teachers really showing me the way about the instrument and letting me develop what I enjoy, not really showing me what they think I should do.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, I think, probably the most helpful for me.
You say you're from Jamaica. So
yeah.
I would assume anybody from Jamaica would be from a musical family.
Right. My family all sing. Some of them think they sing, and some of them do sing fairly well. My mother had a beautiful voice. She really had a beautiful voice. But no one in the family were musicians per se. Everyone, did other things. So there was always music playing in the house.
Okay.
I grew up kind of with my grandmother, and calypso was always playing in the house. So that gets into you no matter what you do. So
That's right.
Yeah.
When you started out and you really got into the music, did you think about or have any doubts about when you started as that you would be successful?
Yeah, I definitely did. I mean, no one knows the future, right? And
Right.
Music is not exactly an easy profession to go into, and it's definitely not an easy one to actually make a living at. So I was very leery about being able to survive in music, and thank God I've been able to do that over these years. I for the last 10 years I've survived without teaching or anything else, just pretty much in the music business. But when I first started playing the guitar, I really didn't know that this was going to be something I was going to do for the rest of my life. And when I decided to go to college for music, I still wasn't sure if this was something I was going to do for the rest of my life. But the community of musicians, we were very tight, and a lot of people that I played with, I got great friendships with them, and we all kind of helped each other on through the bad times when you're making no money whatsoever. And so I think, now I finally figured out that I can make it at this late age.
Hey, you're still young, my brother.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Say, before we go, I want to thank you, and I want the listeners to know that you got to pick up If Time Stood Still. It's really a groove. It really is. It really is. Norman has that touch, and I can't really be honest with you. Can't hear. A lot of people say, "Man, he sounds like so and so, and he sounds like so and so," but I hear Norman Johnson.
I really do appreciate you saying that, James, because although I've studied a lot of other guitar players, I've never sat down and learned every line that they've played. It's more the feeling that I feel coming out of their soul that I'm looking for, and I meld that into my own self. So I don't find myself as a clone of any player, but it's just me with those influences, and so I do appreciate you saying that.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So, Norman, I want to thank you again, my brother, for being here with us here on the Jazz Intersection, and I'm going to play some of your music on my next podcast, which I'm working on now, coming right up. And I wish you the best, of course. Oh, by the way, where are some gigs coming up? Since this is to the world.
Okay, yes. I work the first Saturday of every month at this club in Southington, Connecticut called Smokin' with Chris. With a vocalist, Diane Maurer, and an alternating third person this week, which is actually tomorrow, with a fine bass player, Rick Rossi. So it's going to be bass, guitar, and myself tomorrow night.
All right. So before we go, one last question, and that is to the younger people in the audience. I know I have some somewhere. What would you tell them concerning their, how do you call it, their adventure into music?
Right.
What advice would you give them?
Well, I think pretty much it would be threefold. One is that you have to love the music, and that's actually the easy part. You know, there are a lot of people who don't play music that love it, so that's the easy part. But you do have to love the music. You have to be willing to put in the amount of time necessary to become good at your craft, and that's a little bit more difficult. And the third thing is you have to have an amazing perseverance. You have to be able to deal with a lot of adversity, to stick with it and make it through. And usually if you have those three things, you have a possibility of making it, you know, of doing something in the music business.
All right. We thank you, Brother Johnson. And I look forward to talking to you again and find out what you're doing. Keep in touch. You stay in touch. Check out the site, www.thejazzintersection.org. And once again, aloha and mahalo.
Aloha, and thank you so much, James.